You as a business owner, you're in the bottle and you can't read the label when you're inside the bottle. Sometimes you need someone from the outside to come in and go. When we got to cruising altitude and I felt that I could take my foot off the throttle a little bit and just pull back and now I don't have to grind so hard, that's when things got ugly.
So many of us get caught in this trap of growth, and we have no profit left over. And a big part of that is because we don't know.
Business owners with their marketing sometimes don't know how powerful it can be and how transformational it can be when it's used correctly in the right hands. Actually attack what's attacking you. That's the key. When we had $110,000 monthly recurring revenue, to go from that to zero, just like that, it's just like, hang on, we have to.
What are the consequences and costs of not having a marketing plan in place?
You're spinning your wheels and you're getting leapfrogged by your competition. Your competition doesn't want you to know.
If you're a business owner who's struggling to generate new clients through marketing, or maybe your business isn't growing because you don't market yourself, what if I told you you could make $5, $10, $15 for every dollar you put in? What if I told you you could grow your business through automation so that your leads are contacted, you give more value, and you make more money working less? Well, all of this is possible with the right strategy and with the right plan. Today, we interviewed Simon Cryer and we talked about not just how to run a business, but how to enhance yourself as a modern day man so that you're winning in terms of wealth while also winning in your personal life. We go deep into a range of topics. You're absolutely going to love it. So make sure you check out the entire episode. It gets better as we go along. Simon Cryer, you are one of the leading experts here in Australia when it comes to marketing, sales, and automation. We're going to be diving deep into how to run a business effectively and how to win and succeed, not just financially, but in the rest of your life. But I do know that you got some dark sides of what's happened on your journey, and you've been through a lot to become the empowered man. What are you going to be sharing today? And tell us a little bit about the challenges you've been facing.
No, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on the podcast today. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to try and pull back the curtain on some of our biggest campaigns, why they were successful, to help some of your audience and listeners scale their business effortlessly. And I'll share with you some of the really awesome campaigns that we did. But it doesn't always, it's not always rainbows. Sometimes there's some serious storms to navigate. Mm-hmm. And today I'm going to share a little bit about my journey, how I had a business bust up with a business partner, how it went very ugly very quickly, and how we had to claw back from 110 grand a month monthly revenue to starting from ground zero, and what we did to do that, how that affected me emotionally, and the dark space that I went to. I put on about 25 kilos and just how I clawed my way out of that and how we're rocking and rolling today.
Amazing. And I know you have a lot of value to add when it comes to business, but talk to me first about what was happening behind the scenes of the success that people say they have. So you got 110 grand a month, Yep. You're successful, you're making money, but you've put on weight. Like, how were you feeling and what was your internal world like every day with the stress and the weight and all the stuff you were carrying?
Yeah, I think it was okay. I put on the weight after the business bust up.
Yeah.
So the ladder to success was great, and it's a bit like an airplane. We taxi down the runway, and then when we make a decision to grow, we go all in, right? So it's full throttle, and for years we were just climbing. And I was thinking, now we're at cruising altitude. Like my poor team, I nearly gave one of my team members a mental breakdown, and it was just like, and I think that's part of the fun part of business is kind of altitude testing your business. Where it's like, how high can we go? And then when we see cracks appear, it's like, oh, hang on, let's pull back a bit. And what needs to put in place? What do we need to put in place to sort of cover those cracks? Systems, team, that type of thing, culture, and let's see how high we can take it. So yeah, we were at like breaking point, and then it's just like, okay, let's put processes, people in place for the solve, and now let's keep climbing. And they're saying, Simon, you can't grow more. And it's just like, don't tell me what I can't do. We are growing. We have a growth mandate. I said that was fine. It was when we got to cruising altitude, and I felt that I could take my foot off the throttle a little bit and just pull back, and now we're okay. Now I don't have to grind so hard. Now that's when things got ugly. And then when you have, I know Patrick Bet-David says that two characteristics are quite dangerous. When you have someone who is ambitious and lazy, you better watch out for that person. That's not the person you really want to be in partnership with. Now, having said that, I'm strategically lazy, but I'll do whatever it takes to get to, but I want to have systems, and I want to have leverage, and I want to have team and everything. I don't want to be sacrificing my whole life for the business. That's not what success looks like to me. But if you're just inherently lazy and you're disconnected from your business, if you're disconnected from your people, and you see them as tools or objects, right? I don't even call my team staff, right? Staff is like a pole, it's like a rod, it's like something you use. It's like, I call them team. Like, we are growing together. Like our clients, we are growing together. Sometimes we'll take on clients that are less than our ideal clients just to help them. And it's just like, we might even discount our prices significantly just to help them, because we just love the people. We love their vision. We love their purpose. We love their mission, what they stand for, and their business can make a difference in the world, right? So it's like, let's just help these people, right? But yeah, things went ugly, man, when the wheels started falling off. When we hit success, that was the most dangerous time in my journey.
I can imagine. And this idea of lazy and ambitious, I find there are two types of business owners, but also men in general. There's the men who say they want whatever they want, whether it's a nice house, a nice car, success.
Yeah.
And those men will do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
They'll fuck it up. They'll make mistakes.
Yeah.
And they will fail, but they'll fail forward.
Yeah.
The second type of man says he wants it all, but that man is lazy. He procrastinates. He mentally masturbates. Now, we all have the capacity to do that, but that second man doesn't learn and grow from it. So what are the biggest problems you see with business owners? Marketing and sales are simple. What are the biggest problems you see with business owners when it comes to them not achieving success? What's preventing them from getting to that next level?
I love it. I love that you said mentally masturbate, because I think I know exactly what you mean by that, which is like, I'm going to attend the course, I'm going to read the book, I'm going to get the download, and I'm just going to stuff all the information in, but I'm not going to take any of the implementation action. I think that's what you mean by it.
Of course.
It's like, let's go to the other course, but let's not take any action.
Yeah, just overconsumption and overthinking.
Yeah.
And just in your head instead of implementation.
Yeah. I lived in the US for 4 years. I became really close friends with a guy named Russell Brunson, who founded ClickFunnels.
Yeah.
Great guy. Really awesome example of nice guys finishing first. You know, you don't have to be an asshole to win in business. Even though Silicon Valley has, examples of that where it worked, like guys like Steve Jobs, just a horrible man to work with, right? And people who would demand it, even Elon Musk, right? It's like, yeah, he's telling me it's impossible, but I want it by Friday. And it's just like, dude, like, I don't know what he's like as a person to work for, but I think he'd be a hard ass, right? But Russell, great guy, beautiful man, family man. He's got it all going on, right? He's got body balance. He's got his wrestling. He's got his fitness, his cryo spa.
And he's also, just for anyone who doesn't know, multiple hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah,
Very successful in terms of wealth.
Yeah, like $300 million in ClickFunnels. Last I heard, it's probably even more now.
Yeah.
But he's got it all going on, right? So I became friends with him, and it was just amazing just to sort of see his example, right? I'm sort of losing my train of thought a bit too.
So that's an example of a man who's ambitious and does the work.
Yeah.
But what's the opposite that you see with business owners or high-performing men who say they want everything, but they're handicapped. They just can't get to that next level. What do you see causing that?
What I was going to say with Russell was that when he goes to a course, he might go to a conference or something, and he's looking for one thing, one idea, right? There might be a bunch of different speakers there, but he's looking for the one thing that's going to get another $1 million in top line revenue for him.
Yes.
So he will leave the conference, right? If he's there day one of 3-day conference, he finds his one thing on day one, he's leaving, going home, and he's executing. Now that's the difference between someone who's worth $300 million and someone who's stuck mentally masturbating, like feed me, feed me, feed me, feed me, no execution. That's the key decision maker. That's the key point of difference.
Huge. I talked to a client yesterday, and it became very evident that there's two levers he can pull in his business. 3 weeks ago, the first lever was increase his prices. He upped them by 15%.
Yeah.
Got rid of the mindset blocks, extra $300,000 a year.
Wow.
Then we talked about hiring a mechanic and an operations manager. So 2 more tasks. That's going to make an extra $1 million a year.
Yeah.
So I said to him, I said, why would you do anything else? Oh, because I'm busy. I've got to put out fires. Let those fucking fires burn.
Yeah.
So this principle you share of the one thing and executing on it, it's very powerful. Why do you feel like the business owners you work with struggle to do that? Because I know you give them the systems and the automation.
Yeah.
I can be damn sure that they struggle to just execute on that, and they want to do all these other shiny things. What causes that?
Yeah, I think what you say, I think it's social media. Even though we are social media managers, we're social media experts, we camp out on social media paid ad campaigns. I think the distraction and the dopamine hit, the bright, shiny object syndrome, is something that's really an enemy. like you were saying before we started rolling, like how you can put in an 8-hour focus day. And it's just like, man, there are not many men who can do that. There are not many men who can focus for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's really your competitive advantage is your discipline and your ability to stay focused, like laser focused, and do actual deep work to be able to say, even if it's something as simple as putting a sign on your back of your chair or your office to say, do not enter, like a big stop sign, stop, do not enter. And it's like, hey, have you got a minute? Have you got a minute? Have you got a minute? I think business owners are being pulled in multiple different areas, and there's people who want a piece of them all the time. So I think you have to section off time. You have to discipline yourself to say, this is my time for focus. You know, you have to maybe book appointments with yourself to say, I'm going to do deep work here.
Yes,
Yeah.
so powerful. If you're getting value from this podcast episode, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and the bell icon. It allows us to reach more men, to keep more families together, and to give you more value with the guests that we get on board. So please do me a favor, hit subscribe, hit that bell icon so we can give you even more value.
And what you said before too, it could be just a couple of levers. Like one of my first ever clients was my brother. At the time, this is going back over a decade, we were charging $1,500 and $2,000 a month. But because he was my brother, I charged him $5,000 a month, right? And he was like, man, that's expensive. And the reason why I did that, he's probably listening to this podcast right now. And probably I'm going to get a phone call. But this is like a decade ago, right? And so the reason why I did that is I didn't want to have the familiarity of our relationship get in the way of his success. I wanted to create enough financial leverage on him so that he'd actually take action and he'd take this whole gig very, very seriously. We added an extra $1 million in revenue to his personal income, not the business, multiple millions of dollars, but his personal income was $1 million year on year increase. So yes, he said 60 grand's expensive. It's like, dude, if you see this as an expense in your business, hang the phone up right now. Because this, if I do my job properly, when I do my job properly, this will be the most strategic profit center you have in the business. And we just went through little things, man, like the profit and loss statement. As a real estate agency, I'm thinking, what's this expense here of $250,000? Oh, that's for our photography. What do you mean it's for your photography? Oh, we pay photographers to go out and go and shoot homes. It's like, okay, here's what we're going to do. Let's turn that expense into a revenue center for your business. Let's go and hire a photographer for 50 grand a year. And now you'll keep charging them the same rate. And now you're going to make an extra 200 grand a year net by turning that expense into a revenue center and bringing it in-house, right? Simple things like that.
Yeah.
And it's just focus. And sometimes it just takes a different set of eyes, like working with someone like you to say, different set of eyes, different perspective in the business, because you as a business owner, you're in the bottle and you can't read the label when you're inside the bottle. Sometimes you need someone from the outside to come in and go, hang on, this is actually best practice over here. And you're busy doing the day-to-day, and people are having a piece of you that you can't see above your business, right? You can't see what the answer is because you're in the thick of it. So sometimes it's hard to look at those three things that are going to, multiply your business and give you exponential increase for very little investment.
That's so true. I was talking to my mentor yesterday. He runs Dashdot, the 12th fastest growing company in Australia. And we were talking about focus and direction. And he shared something, I'll butcher it here, but it was along the lines of every single thing that you consider adding to your plate should be a default no. You should actively be looking to remove things from your plate. And the most important task is the only thing you should be focusing on until it's done. Sounds great in principle, right? But then you have the average business owner, things getting put onto your plate, fires to put out. I hear this all the time. You probably do as well. I'm getting phone calls all day, every day. Well, brother, you got to change that. You got to change that because the number one thing is the thing that makes you that $1 million.
Yeah.
And you mentioned some words here, leverage. A lot of business owners are working hard and they're constantly busy. But if you're listening at home, maybe you can relate to this. You get to the end of the day, you've worked a 12-hour day, you feel like you got nothing done.
Yeah.
Very common. So talk to me about your principles of hard work versus leverage and working smarter. And then we'll dive into some tactics on marketing and automation.
Yeah, great. Look, I love what Dan Martell teaches, like the Pareto principle, that 80% of your income is going to come from 20% of your efforts, right?
Yeah.
Just that one thing. And this is like, what do you do to highlight? What is the 20% of my effort? What is the most highly dollar productive use of my time right here, right now? And then what he does, I was having dinner last night with a property developer who's super, super successful right here on the Gold Coast. Like he's got 15-story developments, 20-story developments. He's like hugely successful. And we're talking about Dan Martell. And I said, download the audiobook right now. And he's going, and we talked about this Pareto principle, like 80% of your money coming from 20%. And then the key is getting that 20%. And then going, what's the 80% there that I can say no to? Right? So to focus super focus, hyper focus on the 20% of the 20%. Do you know what I mean?
How do you do that?
I don't know. I'm still learning that. Yeah. I don't have this shit all figured out, by the way.
Yeah.
And that's completely okay. And everyone listening to here, you don't need to be, you go for progress over perfection all the time, right? So everyone's on this journey. Everyone's got their shit they have to sort out. Everyone's got their brokenness, their fears, doubts, and unbelief that they have to navigate and overcome. And we've just got to show up. And that's pretty much 80% of success. So yeah, absolutely. So I think, you got to focus on, I go to so many businesses. Like I've got some big businesses and some small ones, right? We have a dental practice and the lady there who owns the practice, running it for 25 years, doing all the marketing herself. Been doing that for 25 years, thought she knew what she was doing. It's like, we had a crack at it and it's like, hey, just try it out. That's an easy close, right? Just try it out, see if it works for you. De-risk it for her. She had to put on 3 new staff members to keep up with the leads. And it's just like, oh, we created another problem. So
that's a great problem to have.
Yeah, every solution has its next problem, right? So she's like, oh, I have to put on more staff. And then it's just like, okay, now we put on all these staff to hand up with demand. Let's keep the demand going. And it's just like, oh, the marketplace, listen to this, the marketplace is down. All the other dentists I'm talking to around our area are all losing. It's just like, well, that means we need to respond, right? So we need to double down. When COVID came, I had agencies coming to me going, could you help us? I mean, this is my competition, right? Could you help us? Or could you buy us? Could you acquire us? It's like, no, man, just double down. You should got this thing. You should have this thing, right? You should be able to double down and lean into what's attacking you. Actually attack what's attacking you. That's the key. So when things went awry in our business, when we had to climb out of a hole, when we had $110,000 monthly recurring revenue, to go from that to zero, just like that, it's just like, hang on, we have to find a way to fix this. We have to double down. So often with businesses, the first thing to go is their marketing budget, which is the stupidest thing, because that is the lifeblood of your business, is talking to your ideal potential clients. Yeah. That's the very last thing. And it goes because they can't measure it and they can't see it. Yeah. Right. If you have something that is transparent and accountable, and you can say, hey, our cost per acquisition of a new client is $100 and the value is $2,000. It's like, dude, that's like me going to a barbecue and Toni going, hey, here's the $100, Simon. And I go, thanks, Toni. Here's $2,000 in exchange. Like, how long will you make that deal?
Yeah, you pour every dollar you have.
You give me back the $2,000, right? And go, hey man, turn that into $200,000, right? So it's like, it's not rocket science here. It's mathematics. Yeah. And so if business owners can just see transparently that these are the numbers, they can realize that the marketplace is simply a vending machine, and you get to choose how many sodas you want to get out of the vending machine, right? How many cans of Coke do you want to get out of the vending machine? That's up to you. Yeah. And if you know this is how much they cost and this is how much they're worth, it's kind of a no-brainer. You can build a business by design, which means you can take it as high as you want to before, you start having headaches and going, oh, there's too many staff. I know you went from a massive business, and then you made a quality life decision about what you really wanted. It's just like, I don't know if I want this massive business, and I don't know if I want to run an adult daycare center. Yep. Maybe I just want to have a very profitable business without all the headaches, and you can build it by design. There's no right or wrong. It's just choice. It's just what is going to make you come alive. It's just going to be what are your terms, not what society says, not what the media says, but what's going to be in it for you. What makes you come alive and gives you fulfillment and success and a sense of purpose and destiny.
And that requires you to sit down with yourself. You mentioned something at the beginning of the podcast, making time to sit with yourself. And there's a difference between doing versus thinking. Yeah. So I'm very keen to talk about marketing budgets, because a lot of listeners and business owners don't even know what that is, and they don't have one. I'd love to talk about solutions versus problems. You have this $110,000 business. It goes to zero. you're instantly thinking, how do I solve this problem?
Yep.
When you have a marketing problem, a sales problem, a fulfillment problem, there are only so many problems you can have in a business, right?
Yeah.
You focus on solving it. Whereas a lot of men, they're so busy doing.
Yeah.
They're so busy being stuck in the weeds that they don't have the time to think,
Mm.
right? So what are the steps you would take someone through? Their business is a prison. They have no time. They're not making enough money. They're handicapped for growth, or they've grown too fast. What is the process you take these clients through
Yeah.
in order to fix those problems?
I'll gladly share that.
Yeah, sure.
But before we get there, a man needs to know who the hell he is and what he's capable of. He needs to go back to the past where he won, where he had a dream, he had a vision for his business, he had a desire and a drive. He needs to reconnect with that sense of self, with that sense of identity on who the hell he is and the things that he has accomplished in the dark night of the soul, right? He's had to come through some stuff to get to where he is today, and he needs to revisit that sense of self and identity. That's something that I don't help with. That's something that you help with, right? So before we can have that conversation, he needs to know who the hell he is and what he's capable of. He needs to know that he's strong. He needs to know that he's enough. He needs to know that he's capable. And he needs to know that he's a man.
And can I just jump in there? What that really means for a modern day man is waking up every day with certainty, clarity, conviction, and going, I'm going to fucking figure this out no matter what.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't mean not feeling fear or doubt or stress or overwhelm or having that argument with your wife. It means despite all the bullshit you're going through, you show the fuck up and step up no matter what. And when you show up as that guy, you combine it with the strategies that you teach, marketing, sales, automation. That combination of identity, skill sets, and support, you become unstoppable.
100%. Yeah. I think in a weird kind of way, the worst times in my life is where I've seen my best results. And I hate that because my question to myself is, does it really need to get dire straits for me to show up as my best, most resourceful self? Right. And it's just like, the answer is no, but I know with a certainty when my back's against the wall, my best is about to come forth always. And whether it's me or whether it's a client's account going south, if they're not getting results, it's like they've been with us. You know, there's an expression in Wall Street that says it's going to be slower than expected and then faster than you can imagine. So it can be times where you are, our clients are like putting in $5,000, nothing, $5,000, nothing, $5,000, nothing, $5,000, 75 grand, $5,000, 175 grand. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes it's not uncommon for us to not hit a home run on the first swing of the bat. Sometimes we do it, right? But maybe 1 in 4 times we do it, nail it. And it's like everyone, champagne corks pop, everyone's celebrating. Sometimes we've got to just keep swinging, right? So those times it's like, it's making no sense at all. Or the algorithm is just doing us dirty, or there's some other thing that's unseen that we can't put our finger on to say, we can't pinpoint why this isn't converting. We just have to reassess the whole thing, go back to the drawing board and just figure out a way. And it's just like those times, it's like where we have to be forced into creativity to say, let's do something we've never done before. Let's have a look at, we very rarely look at the competition, right? Because we don't need to. What we need to do is get good at people. You know, because people buy, people get moved, people have psychology. So when we first help a client who's wanting to grow their business or they're struggling or whatever, it's not quite where they ideally want it to be, we're looking at the who question, right? Who is your most profitable client? And we want to understand their psychographics and their demographics, right? Like, where are they living? What are their income levels? How aware are they of your solution? Are they problem aware? Are they solution aware? Are they most aware? Are they unaware? Right? Who do they blame? Is it their spouse? Is it their government? Is it their parents? Is it their church? What the heck is going on there? Right? What are 5 things that they want to hear? All right. And what are 5 things they need to hear? What are 5 steps that they can take to solve their problem? What are some of the behaviors they're doing as a result of the problem? Are they self-medicating? Are they beating their spouse? Are they just ignoring the problem? And so we want to know who these people are at a heart level so that we can resonate with them in our ad copy and our offer. What are their top 10 fears? What are their top 10 aspirations? What are their irrational fears? Who do they look up to? Whose opinions are important to them, right? Things like that help us to really dial down and help our clients to really do an assessment and an appraisal of who their most profitable client is. That's a start. It's like It's not the how or the what, it's the who. So once we get that who dialed in.
Can I just jump in on that one?
Yeah, absolutely.
Most business owners have no idea the answer to 99% of those questions.
Absolutely
So
correct.
you ask one of our plumber clients or one of our haulage clients or one of our guys who works in the mines and has a business there.
Yeah.
They're like, what the fuck did you just say? So is that something that you support your clients with? Is that something we have to figure out on our own? How does a business owner answer those questions?
Yeah, we have to lead them through it. We
Okay.
don't just go, here's the document, complete it, because they just get stuck.
Yeah.
So we say, oh, hey, what behaviors are they doing as a part of their problem?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Are they drinking? Oh, yeah, they're drinking as a problem. What else are they doing? And what else are they doing? Like, it's almost like pulling teeth. We've got to help our clients to like really, you know your clients better than we do.
Yeah.
Tell us what else they're thinking about. What else do they need to hear?
It's like the foundations of everything your business is. What's the consequence or cost for a business owner of not knowing this information?
Oh, just they're hit and miss with their marketing.
Yeah.
And this is why the marketing budget is the first thing that gets cut in difficult times, is because they don't know how powerful it is or how powerful it could be. If they knew how powerful it could be when it's dialed in correctly, it's like, you know, The Prince and the Pauper, the book. There's this guy, the Prince and the Pauper, they swap roles, okay? And the pauper's in the king's chamber and he's got this thing, and the only purpose he can see for it to do is to crack open walnuts. And it's actually the king's seal. And what that means is that you put the seal on something and that is the law. Like, he can literally change the law with the power of the king's seal, and he's using it to crack nuts open. So business owners with their marketing sometimes don't know how powerful it can be and how transformational it can be when it's used correctly in the right hands. Do you know what I mean? They have no idea of what could be possible. And the reason why we do this deep dive into the psychographics is because people buy on emotion and they justify with logic. And it doesn't matter if we're talking to a CTO of a tech company, Fortune 500 in the US in Silicon Valley, or if we're talking to a mum who's looking for a plumbing solution.
That's the part most men don't get, though, is they think that like she just wants her toilet fixed. It's like, no. There's so much underneath that.
Yeah.
So the consequences of not knowing this information is it affects your marketing. What if you're a business owner who doesn't rely on marketing? What are the consequences and costs of not having a marketing plan in place?
Yeah, you're spinning your wheels and you're getting leapfrogged by your competition. Your competition doesn't want you to know what I know, right? Because if you did, you would overtake them in leaps and bounds, and it would almost be effortless. Like, you talk about a plumber and going to like, she just wants her toilet fixed. No, she doesn't. She wants you to show up in a uniform. She wants you to knock on the door and step 3 steps back because you're a big burly guy, and she wants you to have a uniform on. So she knows you're not here to ransack her house. And she wants you to smell not like a crop duster, she wants you to put on a clean shirt. She wants you to clean up your mess. She wants you to show up on time. She wants you to honor your quote. And she wants to be seen. She's at home, home-based. She actually wants to be seen and recognized. If you want to set yourself apart from a sea of sameness of every stinky, dirty, smelly, late, dirty plumber, you leave a little small gift. It could be, I don't know, something that's not going to melt in the car, like a little bag of lollies or something for the kids, or a coloring in book for the kids. You're just at a higher level, right? And you don't need to, that's your marketing, right? A little gift to say, hey, thank you. Or, oh, I noticed your kitchen windows were a bit dirty above the sink where I changed or I just gave them a wash. I washed the windows for you. It's like, oh my God, that sense of wow. What that does for a single mum who's got kids at school, what that does for the tuck shop Grapevine is more than I can do on social media.
Yeah. And I want to make it very clear. Anyone listening right now, that quote, the sea of sameness and that wow factor, think about where in your business you can apply that.
Yeah.
Because there are so many plumbers and marketers and buyer's agents, and there are so many people competing with you.
Yeah.
And it is a sea of sameness.
Yeah.
So if you can market yourself, not just in terms of ad spend or running marketing, but market yourself and how you show up, your business will stand out. And that's where people refer you, they come back to you. That in itself can double your business.
100%.
That's when you put fuel on the fire.
Oh my God. We did something, like I first started off in the real estate space, right? Because my brother was a real estate agent and he was down in Tasmania. And then I had a friend of his, he was in Launceston, and his other mate was down in Hobart. And we did this thing. It's like, you've got real estate agents there who are supposed to be marketers, right? But they're not. So they were saying, oh, if you list your house with us, you'll get a free pizza. It's like, really? So you'll make $40,000 commission and you'll give them a pizza. Wow, that's really kind of generous of you. So we just did something that's like, what is going to get us out of the sea of sameness? How can we have a grand slam offer where it's pretty hard to say yes to? And how can we put it in a way where, because we're real estate agents, we know that people don't trust us. We're right down the bottom of the barrel with solicitors, prostitutes, and digital marketers right at the very bottom, okay? So how can we do something that speaks to that skepticism? So we said, hey, how would you like a chance to win $100,000 just for guessing the value of your home? And we'll give you a ticket in the drawer just for doing this. And then we tried to gamify it even more so that we would speak to that skepticism, or it would be like, there's a brilliant marketer in the US named Perry Belcher, and he's got this analogy of whiskers and cheese, right? And he says, oh, well, when the cat's away and the mouse will play, okay? And then, so the mice comes to the hole and he sees there's this big block of cheese there and he goes, well, that looks delicious, right? So he's approaching the cheese, and once he sees whiskers next to the cheese, he's a little bit nervous, right? He's like, hang on. There's all this cheese, isn't great. And if he sees teeth and whiskers, it's like, oh, this is a setup, right? So he's very, very nervous at this point. The cheese isn't worth it. So we understand that principle, like, okay, let's give them $100,000 just for finding out the value of their home. But there could be an agenda there. As a man, there's always an agenda, right? Yeah. Women are different marketers, right? We don't have agendas as women, but as men, there's always an agenda behind everything. So we're trying to sort of gamify it to kind of distract them and say, if you guess the price of your home or the value of your home within 20 grand, we'll give you an extra 20 more chances to win. So we did that, and man, he's overhearing older neighbors talking to each other, going, isn't Todd just a lovely guy? He's wanting to give back $100,000 to the community, back to the community. Someone's going to win. We were generating leads for him, and like, this is going back a while, like $2.50 a lead, and he's spending like $20 a day. Nothing, right? He's probably spend more on lunch a day. Mm. And he's like, you have to turn the leads off. I'm getting too many campaigns. It's like wrong thinking, but yeah. And it's like, hey, he's got 3 appraisals that he's missed out on that went to market and sold. And so at the time, there was an average of about, I don't know, let's just call it 20 grand. So 60 grand revenue he's missed out on just because he can't keep up with it.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have. My clients say that all the time. I've had to turn down work. Yeah. No.
We don't turn down work. It's like, do you hate money?
Yeah. No. But they don't know how to scale properly.
Find a solve, yeah.
So marketing isn't just running ads. It's how you market yourself and stand out in the sea of sameness. Whether you're a business owner or not, that is a principle to live life by. Yeah. Now let's dive into the marketing principles. So let's say you are running ads in your business. Yeah. What do you do for that guy to help them make more money? And then the business owner who doesn't run ads, they don't understand them. They don't understand the power of lead generation. Yeah. How would you serve both of those markets for anyone listening?
Yeah. Well, I think it very much comes down to a team approach. Like we've got a media buyer on our team. She's a technician, right?
For the person who doesn't understand what that means, what's a media buyer?
A media buyer is someone who is just a Facebook expert.
So they run ads for you.
They run ads, they optimize ads, they look at the data, they analyze what variations are converting more, they adjust budget, and they go, they do the targeting, they do all the analysis, and there's about 80 different ways to really bugger it up if you don't have an expert there. Like the data is everything, and optimization is so crucial. So we need a certain type of person who's like a tinkerer, someone who doesn't really like people, but they love data. We have that genius in our in our team. Her name's Jessie. We call her the blue-haired assassin. And like on Zoom calls, she doesn't even have a camera on. She gets 2 people out, right? Yeah. And it's like, just love her for what she is because she's a genius.
So just to confirm, so that person goes into someone's business and they find out the answer to all those questions alongside you and your team.
Absolutely.
And then they take your business and put it in front of somebody who needs your product, who needs a problem solved. So you're basically, this thing's in your pocket all day, you pull it out and boom, I need a plumber. Oh, wait, I have a plumbing business, and it links the two. Yeah. I really want to create that distinction because I know half of the listeners run ads and the other half have never done it before. Okay. Yeah. And they don't know the value of it. I've spent, I think, about $3.5 million on ads the last 4 years. Right. I understand the value of it. Yeah. Right. You put in $1, you make 3 to 5 back.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah. Perfect.
But a lot of business owners, I can't get enough leads. I can't generate enough business. Yeah. This is the cheat code, right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the people who aren't running ads, even the people who are, then probably not optimizing their ads.
Yep.
Right. There's probably a better offer there that you could craft by going through that process of knowing who the heck your ideal, most profitable customer is. Right. You do that, nail that down. That helps you get in touch with here. They're emotional because people buy on emotion, justify with logic.
Yeah.
How do we let them off the hook? Right. If they're blaming themselves, depends on what the offer is. Right. If it's a plumbing offer, there's not much blame there. Or maybe they don't blame their kids for, sticking toilet rolls and pizzas in the toilet.
Do you know what I'd do for a plumbing offer? I'd use shit puns like, sick of shit plumbers, haha. Or I'd say, wipe with the other hand. I just think it'd be funny. But
awesome. I love that.
Stand out a little bit.
Yeah, 100%.
Or just have a kid that's like laughing like this with toilet paper down the drain. Like, it just stands out, right?
That's
right. Anyway,
humor's awesome, man. Yeah, absolutely. So I think first thing you've got to know who it is you're serving.
Yeah.
2, you've got to craft an irresistible grand slam offer where it'd almost be stupid for your ideal market to say no to it, right? So if you can, most people aren't really skilled at sales. Okay, so that's why there needs to be a lot more emphasis on the offer, because if your offer is a grand slam offer, then you don't need to necessarily be that savvy at sales.
Yep. Can you define a grand slam offer for me?
A grand slam offer would be an offer that I'm running at the moment, right? It's like there's we've got one of our superpowers is in the RTO space, and there's a conference happening in Adelaide right now today as we're speaking, and it's being held at the Hilton Hotel in Adelaide through Iteca. So what are we doing today? I'm not there in person because I'm here. This is the most highly leveraged value use of my time, right? So, but my image and my ads are being served in Adelaide with a pin on the Hilton Hotel right now. So anyone in the Hilton Hotel is getting my ads, and it's an RTO specific offer. And it's like, hey, listen, if you're running an RTO, here's what your competition doesn't want you to know about marketing in 2025. If you're relying on word of mouth and student seats become empty, you're just left scrambling. Agencies are unreliable and hit and miss, and you're basically setting your marketing spend on fire. Lots of pain. I'm talking to the problem, and I'm calling out my audience. If you're running an RTO, blah, blah, blah. So that's the structure of the ad. I want to show, but it doesn't have to be that way. In fact, with our student automated acquisition system, we can show you how to do this, this, this. We've got RTOs who have doubled and quadrupled their businesses, and I'll prove it to you. I want to give you access to a free training session that I did for Iteca, which is the body that's running this conference. I want to give you for free. This is what's working right now in 2025. And plus, I want to give you a $5,000 student acquisition growth plan for free that you can implement in your RTO immediately. Right? And it's just like, you would have to be as dumb as a bag of nails not to take that offer. If you were serious about growth and you had problems in your RTO, why wouldn't you? I'm piggybacking on the brand of this industry body. It's when I'm speaking on stage at their stage, I've got their logos everywhere. I've got it filmed. So there's images of me talking to a room full of people. So I've got social proof happening right there. They can see this is me talking. This is what the video looks like.
If you want to actually take this framework that I shared and apply it to your life, it's part of our Empowered Man Armory and our app that we've spent almost 250 grand on. If you want access to a powerful system where you can use this reframe system I just shared with you every single day, then find me on Instagram at Toni Empowered Man, ToniEmpoweredMan. I'll put the link down below as well. Send me a DM saying reframe, and I'll give you this exact framework as well as early access to the Empowered Man app when it launches.
I've got a digital product, but I've got what looks like a DVD and a computer screen. It looks like a physical product, even though it's digital, because people want to have something tangible, right? Because that's valuable if it's tangible. So I've made a digital thing look like it's tangible. So I've got a lot of things going on for a Grand Slam offer. Plus, I've got a $5,000 student growth acquisition plan that they can implement in their business for free immediately.
Yeah,
that's a Grand Slam offer. You'd have to be dumb as dog shit not to take it up. If you were serious about growth. If you're not, I don't want to talk to you anyway.
Well, that's not your ideal avatar.
Correct.
But to your point, anyone listening right now who runs a business, I cannot understand the importance of what you just shared. You can find conferences and clients and pockets of business. You can drop a pin around those, whether it's your local city you run your business in, where you run your services. You can set a zone. You can speak directly to your clients' pain points. You can stand out from the rest.
Yeah.
You can make them go, oh my God, that's me.
Exactly.
And then a day or two later, they give you money.
Yep.
Just consider that for a second. You know, we have a $10,000 to $40,000 program. We sometimes run an ad.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody will see an ad, like what you teach.
Yeah.
I don't teach this. You teach this.
Yeah.
And they'll go, that's me. They'll be sitting on the toilet taking a shit. My marriage is fucked. I have no balance. I have no time. They get on a call the next day, they pass 10 grand. That is insanity.
Yeah.
And if your business currently doesn't have a system like that in place, you are burning your cash to the ground, 100%. Which is why it's so important to work with someone like you to have that strategy in place.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you've got the marketing, you've got the Grand Slam offer, you understand your avatar.
Mm-hmm.
What's the process after that?
Yeah, I think you got to do the targeting, like you said. I think you said you had a mining company or something like that.
Yeah, one of our clients yesterday, he's got a $50 million company and he works in the mines. And his logic yesterday was, you know, a lot of the stuff doesn't apply to me because I work in the mines and they're really old school and they want to use timesheets instead of digital products.
Okay.
I was coaching him on business. Yeah. And he had all these reasons for why it wouldn't work. But I think I know the answer you're going to share is you customize it to work based on your marketing approach. But
yeah, that's right. Yeah. Like we, just from a targeting point of view, one of the things that we did is like we were doing an offer for FIFO workers for a financial services product. And also we've done that for financial services. We've also done that for investment property. People showing, you know, people who work in the FIFO space, how to use their tax to pay off an investment property and half their mortgage, right? So the targeting there was FIFO workers specifically. That was really cool because it's like just talking to FIFO workers, not very general and very broad. It's like there's a free download of this booklet and it's just got them, right? It's like an old school photo that you would see. Like if you see an old school photo from, I don't know, mid 80s in your classroom and you're looking for, whose face are you looking for in your class? First of all, it's your own. So people want to see themselves in the ad. They want to see themselves in the collateral. So we got all FIFO workers that look like actual Australian FIFO workers, not from Germany, okay, but actual Australian FIFO workers speaking to their specific pain points. Yes, you work really freaking hard. Yes, you've got the toys, but is this something that you want to see yourself doing long term, right? Well, no, maybe there's a smarter way you could do this because you're getting murdered with tax. Right? Here's a way how you can use the tax you already pay to pay down an investment property and half your mortgage so that, you know, when push comes to shove, you can exit out of the FIFO industry when you want or just live life on your terms. Stay in there if you want to. But yeah, the offer was like specifically targeting every single mining site around Australia. So the targeting thing was really important.
Yeah.
And so when you are looking at your targeting, we do that through the profit profiling session where we need to know who is our avatar, and it could be age, it could be interests, it could be broad targeting, it could be uploading. A really cool way is that uploading a database of your existing clients who've already bought from you. And if we can link those through first name, last name, email, and mobile number to Facebook, their Facebook profile, like if they log in with their mobile, and we can match that record. Facebook collects about 100,000 data points on every single user. It's a little scary. So we can match that fingerprint of someone who's already bought from you to people who are potentially also going to buy from you because they've got the same financial situation. They've got the same interests, the same likes, the same sex, the same gender, the same sex and gender, the same age demographic, the same family makeup, the same interests, the same geography, all of that sort of stuff, right? So that's a really powerful thing and testing those things to see what's going to optimize. So we'll test a targeted audience and a broad audience. We'll test a lookalike audience of people who have already bought from you. And we'll test, other things like by age, or maybe you've got a male audience or a female audience. We've got an investment offer at the moment where females are like half as expensive than men to acquire as a client. And it's like, let's just go with females.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have to be attached to it. It's like, oh, I need more men. It's like, why?
You need more money.
You need more money is what you need. Who cares what color it comes in or what style? It's like, it's money. Yeah. Just take it. Yeah.
The point of your business is to make profit. I'm sure you want to have purpose and fulfillment in what you do, but so many of us get caught in this trap of growth, and we have no profit left over.
Yeah.
And a big part of that is because we don't know who our avatar is, who is our dream customer who pays us the most, and then we don't know how to attract them into our business.
Yeah.
So just so I'm clear for the listener at home, if you run a business, if you are struggling to make profit, get leads, grow your business, you must have a marketing plan in place.
Yeah.
And that marketing plan gets to be put in place by an expert who
Yeah.
knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Now, there's another piece here, and I hope we're not jumping around too much, but we talked earlier about growth equals more pain.
Mm-hmm.
And as you grow your business,
Mm-hmm.
problem one, you don't have enough business.
Yeah.
Problem number two, we can solve that easily with good marketing like yours. Now you're growing your business, but growth equals more pain, more employees, more headaches, more taxes.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of us don't want to grow.
Mm-hmm.
Is it appropriate to speak about that now? Or do you want to keep talking about the marketing stuff?
We will speak about that. Let me just sign off on the marketing stuff, because there's a lot of people out there who have tried digital marketing and failed. They might have done it by themselves. They might have done it by a freelancer. They might have done it with an agency. And I'm just here to say, if you've tried it and you failed, it's not your fault. There are so many cowboys out there. Like, we went in to a client who just recently onboarded with us. They'd been through 4 digital marketing agencies, not freelancers even, agencies with 0 results, 4 different agencies in the space of a year. I couldn't even believe they're actually talking to us. The mindset of these guys was amazing. They're ready to sort of get back on the horse again after 0 for 4, right? And
how much will they spend on that to go through those 4, do you reckon?
Over $100,000, easy.
So they've spent $100,000 trying to figure something out. It hasn't worked. And then they've come to you. And let's say somebody comes to an expert who really knows what they're doing. I know it's varying between industries, but you put $1 in. What can you typically expect to make back with good marketing that's targeted?
Let me give you a couple of examples of that. So this client in particular, their previous agency got their whole digital marketing ads banned. So we didn't have a Facebook account that we could run paid ads. We had a database of 30,000 people. And it's just like, let's put together a grand slam, no-brainer, irresistible offer. So we did that. At the time, they were in the financial services, teaching people how to trade the stock market. And I just thought, who is one of the best copywriters in the world? Well, Tony Robbins uses the best. Let me have a look at what he says about his Business Mastery Summit. Let me look at the elements of what makes that thing work for him. He talks about winter-proofing your financial future, winter-proofing your business. It's like, this is good. Future-proofing, things like that. The language and the elements that he had in his landing page is like, let me model some of those into our offer about trading the stock market. So we did that together. We wrote a series of about 6 emails, because most businesses send 1 email and then they just hope. And it's just like, no one's reading your email. That's why you need to send 6, because their email account is getting smashed with all these other distractions, right? So you got to tell them again. So they'd been around for about 18 years. Their highest revenue month in business in 18 years was 600,000. And they said to me, if you could get this to $500,000 for just email, we'd be super impressed. We did $1.2 million banked revenue, not funny money like $90,000 a month, like banked 1.2 million. We ran pretty much exactly the same offer the following year. It was like an end of financial year special. I put my senior copywriter on that. And he said to me, you did a 7-figure launch with this? And I'm like, you buddy, do better. He did 1.3. I said, okay, wages on, mate. He did 1.3 to the same friggin' list just through email. So like $0 in, because it doesn't cost you anything to send out an email. So that's a bit weird. But that was all we had to work with initially, because we didn't have paid ads. In our other space, we've got I've got a single mom who was in the property investment space, selling investment properties. She was spending $30 a day. I'm like, you got to spend more. My 17-year-old son spends about $70,000 a year on drop shipping, where his profit is about $100. Your profit is about $38,000 to $42,000 per deal, right? She'd spent $11,000 over 10 months. She'd made $309,000. We're celebrating that for her. That's amazing. That means every time she puts in $100, we give her back $2,800.
Yeah.
And so the conversation with me and Jody is like, Jody, if you were having $120 a day in ad spend, we'd be having a $1.3 million celebration right now over the course of the last 10, 11 months, right? That would be very different. And some people just can't get their head around the numbers. She was like, optimize the ads. It's like, Jody, it's giving you a 28 multiple, a 28 times. Like, you put in $1 and $28 comes out. It doesn't get better than that, right?
That's ridiculous.
No one optimizes ads. The conversation is about ad spend. I even had another client and teaching people how to do developments, big guy, big profile, worth $100 million. And he's like, I want to charge $400 for people to come to the webinar. No one's paying. They don't know who you are. They don't trust you. They see you in your red Ferrari, and they already hate you.
Yeah.
So
Aussies, eh? In America, they'd be like, nice car, mate.
Yeah, that guy's amazing. He's worth listening to.
It's like, fuck that guy.
Wanker.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's right.
Anyway.
It's like, hey, you're starting off, and he says, look, they have to have skin in the game. Otherwise, they're not going to buy my $40,000 product. I said, interesting. Let's have a look at the data, because I don't care. I'm not about making anyone right or wrong. I don't care. I don't have an emotional attachment to it at all. I just want to see what the data says. And I'm like, I'm telling you, man, they're not buying at $400. They're not buying at $97. Try it for free. He goes, I don't want to, because no one's going to purchase and no one's going to upsell, because there's no skin in the game. So I disagree with you. I'd love to test it out. 2 weeks in, it's costing us $400 to get a $49 registration. Can we please do this for free? Yes. Registrations go from $400 to $20 per registration. We have 1 in 3 people show up for the webinar, which is great. That's pretty much industry benchmarking. So $60 to have someone in the room. 5% of the people are buying the $40,000 ticket item. And it's 5% of the people who paid $97, and it's 5% of the people who came for free. The same numbers, right? So what that means with the numbers is like $60 to have someone in the room. 5% of $40,000 is $2,000. Every time you spend $60, you make $2,000. Amazing ROI. So I said to him, next webinar we do, you should be paying $6,000. Someone should be paying $6,000 next week. And he goes, what? It's like, dude, either you pay $6,000 or I'll pay the $6,000. I don't care. I'll pay the $6,000 and I'll split the revenue with you 50-50. I'll make $100,000, you make $100,000. Or you could just spend the $6,000 and take $200,000. Either way, one of us is spending $6,000 next week.
Yeah.
So when they see the numbers, then that helps them make decisions, right? And it's my job just to sort of paint a picture and show them what the numbers actually look like, what that means, right? So numbers can be confusing. When I was at uni, I did a double major. I did fine arts and I did accounting.
Yeah.
So I can understand creative problem solving and I can understand the numbers when I need to. That's not my strength, by the way, but I know enough to be lethal as a strategic weapon for a business to help them.
Yeah, a lot of people don't though. A lot of business owners, as soon as you start talking about those numbers, they go into panic.
Eyes glaze over, yeah.
So tie off the marketing, two business owners. One, they're running ads, they're not making enough money.
Yeah.
2, they don't run ads or they've never run ads.
Yeah.
What final piece of advice would you give to those 2 demographics before we move on to growth?
Yeah, I think you've got to explore what's possible, because while you're just going on and staying the same, nothing changes if nothing changes, right? So it's probably worth having a conversation with an expert in the field or someone that you have some degree of trust with, that you resonate with, to say, hey, what could be possible for my business? Right? I'd be happy for your listeners to have just a free chat about it. If we wanted to do a Zoom call, we do. We're doing an offer right now. It's a $5,000 strategy implementation business growth call, where I actually sit down with them. We sort of make a determination whether they even need us or not. We don't know. We need to ask a few questions to see if there's any point in us, continuing the conversation. Maybe they don't have big enough goals, or maybe they don't have big enough budget, or maybe they don't really want to grow, which is fine. There's no right or wrong. So we just find out who they are, what they want to do, and if we can help them. And if we can, we'll put together a custom built strategy session, a document which says, here are the areas where you need to grow. You can have that for free. You can implement it yourself, or you can use us. Like almost 100% of people say, yeah, that sounds great. Can we get started?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you could take it for free. You don't have to do business with us, but that's something that you have and you can keep and implement in your business right away internally, or you can use us to help you execute it.
Yeah. And we'll drop the link down below and we'll talk about the Instagram at the end.
Yeah. And it's whether you've got like a marketing personnel or marketing team or not. A lot of businesses don't, and a lot of businesses do. And sometimes the marketing department can be a bit threatened. Sometimes it's like, until they learn that we're here to support them and actually make them look like rock stars.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of pressure on a marketing, like a CMO. He's spread very thin and he's expected to be the expert on Google, on YouTube, on TikTok, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, on email marketing, on website copy.
Yeah.
All of the things, right? It's like, dude, that's a big thing and he needs a bit of support.
Yeah, well, all of us do. And I think a lot of listeners probably haven't even started the marketing, but I cannot understate the power of it.
Yeah.
My business has been built on paid advertising. I've only just turned it off. I've had 8 years of spending on ads every month.
Yeah.
100 to 150 grand a month at times.
Yeah.
And now we're spending 0. And I'm like, holy shit, this is so weird. But I've had 3 months in my business of 0 new customers. And I'm good.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the power of the compounding from the marketing. So if you are listening to this right now and you're running ads, but you're not making quote unquote enough money, get help. If you are not running ads in your business and you feel like you can't make enough money, get help, because there is a possibility out there where someone like you can come in and print cash. Now, it might not happen, but the biggest risk is doing nothing. Correct?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So let's talk about growth. Growth equals more pain. A lot of business owners have this belief that if I grow my business, if I make more money, if I have more clients, I will go through more pain, more stress, less time with the family, yada, yada, yada. Talk to me about how you help businesses grow through automation and without all the pain.
Yeah. There's one client that comes to mind where he's like, Simon, your automations, there's a few things to talk about with lead generation. One is speed to lead.
Yeah.
Right now, if you have a lead coming in and you don't, if you reply within 5 minutes versus 20 minutes, you are like literally 21 times more effective. So the speed that we call that speed to lead, because they're not really a lead when they come in as a lead. We don't say a lead's a lead. They just got you on their shopping list. Like if you're a plumber, they're still looking at other plumbers, right? You don't have that so speed to lead and that connection to make them stop shopping, right, for a plumber is really important. So that's where automations come in. If you follow up within an hour versus 24 hours, you're 60 times more effective. And that's the reason why we don't rely on humans solely. We need to support them with automations because you could be busy, right? So you might not be just watching the phone or watching your inbox to see, oh, a lead's come in, bam, you're on it. It's like, that's important, but you need automations to do that behind the scenes. So we'll have text message go out to say, and the text message won't sound like an automation. Thank you for your inquiry. A representative will be within you.
Within you.
Will be within you.
We'll be with you.
Hello.
Yeah.
What sort of business is that?
Yeah.
So we have that. We have voicemails, automated voicemails, or they call them forced voicemails, like cool tech, right? So it's just like, it's your voice recorded and it sends a ringless voicemail. So a ring goes to their mobile phone to engage the number. And then a microsecond behind that, another ring goes in and goes straight to the voicemail bank, message bank, right? So it just says, hey, it's Simon here. I just saw your inquiry online. Thank you so much. I'm sorry I've missed you, but I'm going to send you a text message and an email where to get onto my calendar. Let's have a chat. If you've got any questions about XYZ, please don't hesitate. Just send me a text message here or pick up the phone. More than happy to have a chat with you and explain what the options are and see if we can help. Cheers. Something like that. So it's automated, but it's high touch and it sounds like a human. The text message languaging sounds like a human. Hey, it's Toni here. Just thanks for your inquiry. Hey, sorry, I missed you. Oh, no, that's for the voicemail. It's like, hey, just wanted to drop you a quick link and just say, if it's okay, I'm going to cover off on all areas. I'll send you an email. Just check your spam where you can get onto my calendar and let's see if this is a good fit for you. Thanks for inquiry. Speak soon or chat soon, or your language, your voice, right? Your tone. So you want to make it sound like a text message that you would receive from someone that you know. So light, conversational, not formal, not heavy duty.
Yeah. So automate basically contacting people. What about the other areas of growth, hiring, expenses, etc.? Like how can we optimize that in our businesses without all the bloat?
Yeah, that's a really cool question. So this other client quadrupled his RTO and he was saying, oh my God, I've got like 2, maybe even 3 admin people that I don't need to hire because the automation and the follow-up is replacing those people. It's pretty much put it on autopilot.
How much money would that save that business owner?
It's at least a 6-figure conversation.
So at least $100,000.
Yeah.
And these are the levers, right? It's like in business, this happened to me. We hired about 40 people over the course of 2 years. We finished on about 18 in the business. I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea about profit versus revenue.
Yeah.
So I was making all this money, $400,000 to $500,000 a month. I think the best month was $460,000 of cash collected, but our expenses were $400,000. Our tax and super was 60.
Oh shit!
So this vanity metric is like, I'm making all this money. I didn't realize I didn't need all those people. So we have these, like, first problem is we don't have enough leads. We don't market. Then we grow our business, which a lot of people haven't got to.
Yeah.
But when you grow, you're like, what the fuck is this? This is this machine that's a prison that I can't take a day off from.
Yes.
So you use automation to free you up from the business and 100%. Also lower expenses?
Yeah. And we've got like a full CRM that we just throw in for free, right? And we custom build the process, like your sales process, like a lead comes in, then what happens? And then you interview someone on the phone, and then what happens? Then you have a second meeting, then what happens? Then what? So whatever your steps are, we build that in for you. And then we put metrics on there, like your average customer worth is this, right? And then we can have more of a strategic conversation about hire, right? Like there was one instance, like I said, we had about 3,000 leads who had put their hand up to have a qualified conversation about buying. Now they had only had 2 people who were working those leads, and it's just like by the time, and those people were doing other things in the business too, not just dedicated to that. So by the time we get to the 100th lead, the rest have bought somewhere else, right? So now is the time to look at a conversation around employing someone. The client wanted to double their ad spend, right? They wanted to spend like an extra 15 grand a month on ads. It's like, that's not the issue here. The issue is you have a big bottleneck here because you're 2 people who are across everything else. And we look at the leads assigned to different people on our platform. It's like, this person here, Laura Lee, she's about to have a stroke, man. Look how busy she is. So look, these guys are buying somewhere else by the time you get to them. So your conversion rate is 20%. Put someone on new, you've got about $3 million. No, it wasn't. It was 3,000 leads. There was $10 million worth of opportunity there, potentially. And like, yeah, your closing rate right now is 20%. Put on a new person. If your closing rate goes to 10%, I can do the math on that. 10% of $10 million is $1 million. Go make the $1 million, right? Employ someone, make the $1 million, and then we'll have the conversation about doubling your ad spend. Most agencies would wet their pants with the client saying we want to double our ad spend because they get really excited about it. I don't know why. It's a vanity metric for most agencies.
Yeah.
But we're just caring about, top line revenue, right? And as it relates to bottom line profit. So we can see $1 million coming in where they're going to have $1 million potential loss. That's the opportunity cost of not doing it, is $1 million as I see it, right? And so it's worth, paying someone 10 grand a month for someone amazing to make $1 million. That's a no-brainer kind of consult to me.
Yeah, but people don't understand their numbers. I mean, you've shared so many numbers here: conversion rates, amount of leads, how much you can make. And most business owners, I feel, are so stuck in the weeds, and they're so busy and they're so stressed that they don't have the capacity to even realize what's possible.
Yeah.
But this is why we feel like we're stuck in Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
How many business owners wake up, smash 3 coffees to get through,
Yeah.
go and grind all day, come home exhausted, and repeat that for years?
Yeah.
It's a prison that we fall into.
Can be, yeah.
So it definitely can be. So we have marketing yourself and your business. We have automating yourself and your business, specifically your business. Those are the 2 main elements. Is there anything else the listener needs to do to have the business they want?
Yeah. We talked about numbers before. You have to know your numbers because you can't make decisions unless they're just gut feel. And they're not necessarily good quality decisions. But if they're gut feel decisions which are underpinned with data, like the numbers, if you can have like an accounting type conversation to say, oh, it's going to cost me 10 grand to do that, but I'll make $1 million. And if I don't do this decision, I'm going to lose that $1 million, right? It's like, that's a really easy conversation. Sometimes business owners need someone who's external to the business to come in and have that. They can't see the trees for the forest, right? My brother couldn't see that a $250,000 photography expense could be a $200,000 revenue center, profit center for his business by just bringing the photography in-house, spending 50 grand on a photographer, and then still charging that $250,000, right? He couldn't see it because he's stuck in the doing of the business. Sometimes someone external, and it comes in just with a different perspective, a different set of eyes, and fresh set of eyes, who's got some experience across best practice for your industry to say, oh, here's what the best people are doing. And the best people in the industry aren't necessarily going to tell you because you're their direct competitors. But if we're in the mix somehow, and not always, like our first dental client, we had no dental clients, right? Oh, how many dentists have you worked with? Look, we've worked with exactly 0 dentists, but we understand people. We understand why they buy, how they buy, and we can craft offers. So it doesn't matter what your business is, we can help if you want to grow, if you're serious about it. So yeah, I think, they have to know their numbers. They have to get some help, right? And sometimes it takes bad situations to force people to have a look at how it really is, to get really honest. Like you were saying before, like we were making like 400 grand in vanity metrics, but we're going backwards to the tune of 460. That's someone who's going, what the fuck is going on here? Everything should be going amazing. Where's the truth, right? When a business owner is prepared to get honest, to go, what's the truth of my business right now? The good, bad, and the ugly, and where do I want it to be? That's the start of a really cool conversation, because that conversation is one that leads to transformation.
And it requires stopping you doing. We have this phrase at Empowered Man, and I always like make it visual so people can remember. Grab onto your testes.
Yeah.
Right? Grab your nuts. What does that mean? Testy is TESST. So create time, energy, and space to strategize and think.
Yeah.
Testy, right?
Good.
And as business owners, we get so stuck doing, like you said, you're stuck doing. If you're listening to this right now and you are stuck doing, before you hire someone, before you actually go and figure it out, create the time, energy, and space to strategize and think, grab onto your balls, squeeze them really hard so it hurts, and look at what's not working.
I love that,
because there is shit not working in your business.
Yeah.
And what you'll quickly realize is that you have no time, you're constantly busy, you're not making enough profit. Okay, now who is the person I can pay to fix that problem? Yeah. Because if you're so fucking busy, you're not going to fix that problem on your own.
No.
You need an expert.
Yeah.
And it's funny, every footy player has a coach. Every great business owner has a coach. Yeah. But we seem to, as men, not invest in business coaching, life coaching, performance coaching. That's the number one investment you can make.
100%.
You combine that with investing in marketing and automation. Holy shit.
Yeah.
You have a business that gives you freedom.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the whole point of business.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? Most people are waking up and they're swinging the freaking axe. So when you talk about grab your testes, right? Yeah. They're not thinking strategically. They're stuck in the tactical, which is wake up, swing that freaking axe like crazy, and then you're just going to get what you got at the end of the day, which is you coming home feeling disempowered, no energy. Holy shit, is it even worth it? Is this what I signed up for in business? I don't know who the hell would do that in the first place. What a freaking journey it is, right? To succeed.
Psychotic. You have to be a psychopath.
Yeah. So what we do is we change the conversation from tactical to strategic. And we show you how to sharpen the axe and how to get more done with less. With more done with less effort, more done with less staff, using technology, using AI, using automations, using ads to sift you and make a beeline to your most profitable customer, resonating with them and having a conversation with them, rather than filtering through 100 people to find one. Let's just give you 100 of the ones, right? Let's just focus on the one person with one offer to help you make $1 million within 1 year. And we do that with strategy, right? It's not just swinging the axe. It's spending some time stopping, sharpening the axe, figuring out who you are, what you want, what your systems are, who your customer is, and the offer that's going to resonate with them. That's a really sharp axe. And that's the thing that's going to make you unstoppable.
And you can do that. You can become unstoppable, and you can get more done with less. More money, working less hours. Yeah. More freedom without all the stress. Absolutely. More fulfillment. There is a world that exists in every business type on the planet where that is reality. So if you're listening to this right now and you don't have that, create it. Make that your mission, because that's 100%. Why you started the fucking business, was to have freedom and peace and fulfillment. And then you spend 30 years trying to build freedom, peace, and fulfillment and say, once I reach the promised land, then I can switch off. No. Create that now. Now, I want to pivot a little bit. Yeah. Because you talked about optimization and enhancement. Yeah. You've talked a lot about marketing, automation, how you help clients. How has your journey personally, mentally, and physically shifted in terms of your body and your mind? And how's that now impacting your business? Because this all sounds easy. Yeah. But if you've got brain fog and you're tired, it's very hard to do. Yeah. So talk to me about that.
Here's what I did. When I had that business breakup with my ex-business partner, we went from 110 grand monthly recurring revenue to zero. And I was just like, business. What the hell are we going to do? And I was drinking alcohol, medicating, I guess, and just finding a way. It was working, and we crawled out of a fairly dark hole. But then 6 months ago, I had a good, hard, honest look in the mirror, and it's just like, didn't like what I saw. I saw someone who was obese, like morbidly obese, right? Like really fat, really unattractive, really unhappy, who didn't have enough energy for his clients, didn't have enough energy for my family, most of all. Fuck the clients at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, and if it's okay to speak like that, it's just like my family first, right?
Yeah, it's not fuck the clients as in I don't care about them. It's like I'm sacrificing myself, my health, and my family for my business and the people I serve.
Yeah.
And you can't serve people if you don't serve yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. So 6 months ago, I was 22 kilos heavier. I've probably, yeah, I've lost 22 kilos. I've probably put on another 7 kilos in muscle mass by just making a decision. And I love that because you're just a decision away from transforming your business. You're a decision away from transforming your body. I'm so happy for you to show the before shot,
Yeah, send it
partly,
through and we'll
but it's
put it
like
up.
it's like 6 months ago. So what can happen in 6 months when someone decides with a powerful yes of what they won't stand for, when they set a standard for their life, and the flow on effects of that is like, man, I am at such a superior level to serve my clients, and I'm available for my family. I like myself, and I have energy to do things that I never thought was possible before. Like the focus and clarity I've got, like I can sit in front of my laptop for hours and just spend time really focusing deeply on our own business, our client's business. I can not multitask, but I can focus on multiple different projects which are happening in our business at any one time because we serve multiple clients. And I've just got that resource that I didn't have. It's like, it's been a journey of discovery, right? I just thought, oh, this is how it is. And it's just like, oh, no, 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 no. There is a whole world out there. And I started learning about peptides. I started learning about testosterone and what happens for men when they reach 40. And it's just like, maybe I need to look at that. I went and got some tests done and they're saying you're in the normal range. It's like, but I don't want to be normal. I want to be optimized. So if you're putting me in the middle of the normal range, that means I'm average. I want to be the best. I want to be in at least the top 5%. What do I need to do to be there? And I can tell you the drive that I've got from being enhanced as a man with peptides, recovery stuff like BPC 157 or TB 500. I don't want to lose your audience by just quoting all these numbers and letters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that journey has been amazing for energy, recovery, focus, pain, joints, ligaments. I'm 53, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm 33. I really do. And I've got energy to and drive to, like I was 30 years old again. Like I want to take on the freaking world. I want to leave a dent in the freaking thing. And I want to transform people's lives along the way.
And you can feel it. It's palpable. You can feel it through your energy in person.
Yeah.
People listening will be able to feel it.
Yeah.
We often talk about in Empowered Man, what's the point of being successful if you lose your health, your family, and your life in the process?
Not worth it. Right?
It's not worth it. But we know that logically, emotionally, and in terms of our actions, we don't live it.
Yeah.
You know, how often do you hear about the business owner who's wealthy, they're making money, they're building a team, but their body, their mind, and their balance is completely out of whack.
Yeah, yeah.
They're divorced. They're not having sex. They have no energy. They have no mental capacity. They're overthinking.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
80% of men.
Right.
And I think what a lot of men don't realize is the marketing works, the automation works, the business strategy works.
Yeah.
But you get to work as well on yourself.
Yeah.
And when you're optimized as a man, like it's truly powerful to jump out of bed full of energy, to dominate the day, to have a stressful situation that would have derailed you. And you're like, water off a duck's back.
Yeah.
You come home after a long day. Your wife says, how's your day? Honestly, babe, it was pretty stressful. Instead of, it was fine. Right?
Yeah.
And I truly believe all the stuff you've shared is valuable, but it gets to be combined with optimizing yourself.
What I found too, man, is that as I show up, like I walk into your studio today and you're like, oh shit, man, you're jacked.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, I'm quick to say, let me show you my before shot just 6 months ago, right? Because it's a journey. And I'm just getting warmed up right now at the moment. But it's just like, dude, I know that when I walk into a room, I have a presence that commands respect.
Yeah.
And I can't even tell you in terms of a sales process what that communicates about me without even me opening my mouth. It's like, this guy's disciplined, because you have to be to get these results. You have to show up at the gym 5-6 times a week. I didn't even think that was possible, yet alone desire to do it. I've never, ever in my life worked out 5-6 days a week, 3 days a week, 2 days a week. I've never done any of that.
Yeah.
But the discipline required for that, for diet, and what that says about me when I walk into a room is like, that guy's disciplined. That guy is going to do what he says he's going to do. Right? That guy's going to show up. That guy is consistent. That guy is someone who will follow up and follow through, right? And that guy is someone who has attention to detail, because you have to be consistent. You have to be disciplined. You have to do the hard thing to get the outcome that you want. So my body and my presence communicates that. And I'm only saying that for your audience. It's like, oh man, I want your audience to have what I have.
Yeah.
And it's only 6 months new. And it's like I've got a new Lamborghini, right? But it goes with me everywhere. I don't have to park it outside. It's like, it's everywhere I go. And
Absolutely.
and it doesn't cost as much as a Lamborghini.
No, and it feels a lot better. Like
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
got my dream car, my Tesla. It's not a Lambo. I don't need a Lambo.
Same.
And I got it the next day I got it, I was upset because I'm like, I'm not happy.
Yeah.
The best happiness comes from the journey of who you become.
Yeah.
So for anyone listening, you're not sharing this to brag. You're sharing this because it is a feeling you get to experience as a man.
Yeah.
Now, I also know a lot of men will be listening and going, where the fuck do I start? Marketing, sales, automation, and I've got to work on my body and I've got to work on my mind. You don't got to do anything.
Yeah, yeah.
You just get to make that decision, like you said.
Yeah.
Who do you want to be? And it might take you a year. It might take you 5. Who gives a fuck? Because when you can show up and know that your body is weaponized, your mind is bulletproof, your relationships and balance are on point, and you're making a shitload of money and loving what you do, you've made it, man.
100%.
You fucking made it.
Yeah.
But if you don't have that, you got to do something about it.
Yeah.
Right? You got to start. So where would somebody start to start working on their marketing, their automation, growing the right way without the pain? Where would they find someone like you? Like, what would you say is like the simple rapid fire steps to get this journey moving on winning in business and life?
Yeah, look, rapid fire steps, I would say, have a conversation. Just start with a conversation. I think what we do for most of our clients, the number one thing we sell is a conversation. You don't have to sell a $40,000 product. Not from ads, right? You don't want to go straight for the wallet. You want to go for a conversation and be easy to do business with, right? Make it easy for someone to say yes to something. So for your listeners, I'd say, let's have a talk about what you want, what's important to you and where you want to go and where you are right now. What's working in your business, in your life, and what's not working. What do you want to have more of? What do you want to have less of? And let's see if we might be able to help you. You might be doing things 99% right. And it might be like, keep doing those things that you're doing. Maybe add this, but you don't need us for that. Go here. That's the best person that can help you based on our connections and our network. You really need this solution that we don't provide, but go here, these guys, because it's a bloody jungle out there, mate. Like there's a lot of cowboys out there who just want to turn people upside down. And unfortunately, they leave a freaking trail of financial destruction in their wake. So if it doesn't make sense for you to do business with us, we will tell you and we'll show you where to get more help with someone who's trusted. And it might be your website looks like it was designed by a 12-year-old. And maybe it was one of your kids or something. It's like, that might not be great, but yeah, we can point you in the right direction. You can get it done inexpensively, but at a world-class level. Like you can check out the standard of our website at automateconvert.com. You can see some other content. There's some other playbooks that we've got for different businesses that we serve. There's a free download of another podcast that was on where we sort of reveal about 10 of our different playbooks. It's a free video download resource for you that you can have a look at, and you can book in a time from our website and let's just have a chat about it.
Amazing. And is there any final piece of advice you need every listener to take home from today before we finish up?
Yeah, 100%. That you are enough as a man. You are strong. You are wired to be fierce. You're wired to dominate, and you are wired and designed with a message and a story in you that the world needs to hear. Who you are makes a difference for your family, your finances. Who you are is important. The male suicide rates are at an all-time high in Australia, right? And it's just like, it doesn't need to be that way. It's such a waste of talent and such a waste of strength, right? So I think this whole idea of band of brothers, of community of men who are winning on purpose and winning by design, it's just such an important thing. That's why I wanted to get on this podcast and say, guys, let's band together here. Let's form community. Let's help each other, because who you are is enough. You're strong enough, and you can actually allow the shitty times. I love what Tom Brady says when he's interviewed. What are the best times? He goes, I don't want to talk about the best times where we won the Super Bowl. I want to talk about the horrible times, the dark times, because they were the times of self-discovery. They were the times where I really discovered who I really was, like the real Simon Cryer. Who is he? What does he stand for? It's like that squeeze. Like if I've got an orange and I squeeze it here, what comes out? Orange juice. Like what comes out of you when the squeeze is on? That really determines who you are as a man. And so if you've got a band of brothers standing alongside you, calling out greatness in you through dark times, because there's no losing, there's only learning. And if you've got a community that can help you reframe conversations like that, you're already winning.
Love it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, brother. It's been an absolute pleasure. We'll drop the links down below for everyone to check you out.
Amazing.
Automateconvert.com. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you, brother.
Dude, thank you so much. Cheers.
If you want to actually take this framework that I shared and apply it to your life, it's part of our Empowered Man Armory and our app that we've spent almost 250 grand on. If you want access to a powerful system where you can use this reframe system I just shared with you every single day, then find me on Instagram at Toni Empowered Man. ToniEmpoweredMan. I'll put the link down below as well. Send me a DM saying reframe, and I'll give you this exact framework as well as early access to the Empowered Man app when it launches.